Welcome to tonight's group Bible study on Jonah, part 1 of 6. And I'm very excited tonight because we're breaking some new ground, and more importantly, it's going to be more participatory, more involvement, and I'm looking forward to the discussions. I'm looking forward to hearing from your own personal studies, and also at the same time learning how to use Logos. So what is the purpose of a webinar? Well, first, we're going to train you how to use Logos Bible software to study the book of Jonah. We're going to provide training so you can also study the topic for yourself. So in between the weeks that we meet, you'll have the tools to study this topic for yourself. We're going to, along the way, provide biblical insights related to our topic, our Bible study. And as you've already received the personal book, this will be materials that you can use to equip yourself and others. Now, some of you who joined just at the last minute may not have the personal book. So let me show you where you can get that right away. So I'm going to go to LearnLogos.com, and I'm going to click on the next free live training, which is right now. Click to register. And you will see right here, download the free personal book. So just go ahead and click on that. And Nathan has also posted that at the Faith Life group. So let me go ahead and refresh that. And let's see if we can, why don't you go ahead and send me that link so I'm looking at the same place you are, Nathan. That would be really helpful because I'm not sure where it's going to go on here. So that would be really helpful. Okay, so the free personal book, you'll download that, and then you'll need to convert that into a personal book. So let me bring Logos in and show you how to briefly do that. In the document are instructions also how to convert this personal book, and you can see that right here. But basically, after you download the file, you go to Tools, and you go to Personal Books. And then in a few moments, the Personal Book Builder will open up. And then what you're going to want to do is click on Add a Book. And then you're going to give it a title. So just type in Jonah Bible Study, and then click Add File. And then you're going to navigate to the personal book and click Open. At this point, you've got enough basic information to build the book. And then you just click Build Book. Now, I'm not going to do this because I've already got one, Jonah. And when it's done being built, the personal book will open up, and you'll see that there in your Logos workspace. And this personal book has boxes that you can enter information and store your notes. And we will be updating the personal book prior to each lesson so that this book will grow, and all your notes, I did test this, your notes will remain, so it will not overwrite your notes when you update the personal book, which is a really great feature. And Nathan has given me the link, so let me go there real quick and bring this in. And let's see where it goes here. So let's click on that. I'm having a little trouble getting a hold of it, so one moment. There we go. Okay, so it looks like we're in faithlife.com /LearnLogos.com /presentation/documents. So it looks like everything is going to probably be under presentation, I'm assuming there. Yeah, and there we go. So LearnLogos.com -presentation. And there you can get the menu, About and News, Members, Calendar, Documents, which is where we have the study notes, the book covers there, which is great. Jonah Bible Study Notes, which is really great, putting that information in there. I was wondering where that came from. And then community notes as we go down there. So for those of you who are a little more familiar with Faith Life, feel free to leverage that. Of course, take advantage of Twitter and Facebook as well. And I think this will make a great little tool to post notes and comments and things like that. And we'll do our best to keep this updated with the calendar and so forth. And I just want to give a shout out to Nathan, who has pioneered this for us and has taken his personal time to develop this for us. So thank you very much, Nathan. I am just too swamped to do this, and I really, really appreciate your help here. All right, so let's jump back to the PowerPoint. And then just a quick reminder, we will be recording the webinars, editing them, and making them available. The good news is I finally have discovered the bug that was in my recording software. And what it was doing was dropping out audio. So what would normally take 2 hours was now taking me 8 to 15 hours. I don't have that much time in the day, so I got really behind in some of my old webinars. So the next couple weeks, I'll be wrapping that up, and I'll be getting back into the normal routine of recording a webinar and releasing it within 1 week, maybe even less. So we'll be getting caught up real soon. Secondly, we've got the Logos 4 and Logos 5 training DVDs. So if you haven't purchased this, you definitely need it. This is the foundation to learning Logos. We cover every feature, which is where all other training stops. And then we take you further. We show you books in your library. We show you books outside your library to guide you in your book buying purchases. And then most importantly, we teach you how to study the Bible with Logos. The videos work on PC and Mac, and even work on an iPhone or an iPad, though an iPhone will be a little small for you. And then in addition to all that, we have a fourfold approach to training. First, we want to teach you all the features of Logos. We then connect those features to various tasks in the study process. So, finding cross-references, doing word studies. But that's not enough to learn your Logos. You need to have a study methodology. So how do we organize those tasks makes a big difference. So we're going to teach you how to study the Bible, but even if you know the features, you know the tasks, and you have a study methodology, there's still one important tool, and that is understanding your resources. And that's why I spend so much time introducing you to books in your library, because once you understand where the data is, it makes it easier for you to search and use and study. This software will make all of you Logos masters. So go to LearnLogos.com/buy now, and you can take advantage of our 50% off. Don't forget, we've got more events coming up this year. All the events for 2014 are listed at LearnLogos.com/events. If you just go to that page where you signed up for Jonah and scroll down, you'll see all the dates there and all the topics. Very excited what we got. Don't forget, we've got a special event coming up in May and June. 6 sessions, how to study inductively with Logos. And this is no doubt for more precept-minded individuals, but if you study inductively anyway, this will be just as appropriate for you too. And very excited, we'll do this on Saturdays. If you can't make the event, no worries, we record it, we make the video available literally the next day within 24 hours. There'll be 6 sessions, and we're going to take you through everything when it comes to inductive Bible study with Logos Bible software. How to highlight, how to create highlights, what do we highlight, special search tools, walking you through the whole process. Very exciting. We'll be doing some of those things in the Bible, Jonah, but we'll be doing this much more in depth. And there's homework and personal discipleship. So I'll have specific assignments for you. You'll do the homework. I'll grade it. And if we need to personally touch base on issues, we'll be doing that. We'll be corresponding back and forth throughout the 6 sessions. So no travel required, very affordable. There's an early bird registration. And if you have purchased my training, if you have purchased the previous inductive Bible study training, there's an additional $25 off the early bird registration. So take advantage of that while you can get the best price possible. Okay. Let's, one more announcement. Don't forget, 2 weeks from tonight, we're going to focus on how to write a research paper with Logos Bible software. I do have a lot of seminary students and so forth, and those who are involved in Bible programs and institutes, and they've got to write a research paper, and they really need help. So that's what this webinar will be designed to do. All right, let's jump now into the personal book. And I'm going to expand it here and open up in a floating window so you can kind of see this better. But let's walk through what's in here, and then we can proceed. So we have an introduction, and let me even back up even further. After you've created the personal book, if you click on your library icon and type in the title of the book, you'll see it in there. Now, I've got more details, so I have my last name in there as well if you followed my instructions. And so there you'll see the book. And then when you open it up, you'll see a menu here. Now, to get access to the table of contents, we need to go to the resource panel and click it. And then below, you'll see the Show Locator bar. Make sure that's checked. And then go ahead and check the table of contents as well. That's going to give you access to this important menu. The menu is going to allow you to navigate very quickly from within the book itself. So we have the preparation section, which is how to actually create the personal book. Also, I'll be praying for you guys, and you need to be praying as well. We're going to, we need to seek God right away in preparing our minds and hearts so that we can learn what we need to know. And the goal of all Bible study is not merely acquiring content and knowledge, but allowing it to change the way we think and the way we act. What sins do we need to put off? And what acts of righteousness do we need to put on? Colossians guides us in that. We also need to ask God to help everyone attending the study to learn and grow as well. I want this to be a real community if we can, and share each other's burdens through this process. Jonah is a very important book for today, even though it's the Old Testament, and so 1 Peter and Ephesians will allude to that. And also, I'm going to ask God and each of you to help me and the discussion to stay on track biblically. It's very easy to go off track, and I'll be a moderator and be pretty gracious, so no worries. If you ask something that you really want to and it's a little bit off track, we'll do our best to either answer that online or answer it offline. Also, because Jonah is a book about witnessing, right away we want to start asking God for witnessing opportunities, and I already had a couple today because of this, so I'm thanking the Lord for that, but we have to be on alert. When we ask God in prayer, we've got to make sure we're looking for the answer. Okay, the homework, of course, is optional. You'll certainly get more out of this training if you're preparing through the worksheets or through the workbooks I'm saying out here, the personal books. But if you can't because of time constraints, hey, still come and participate, because you're going to learn a lot in the study from the discussion, from the lectures, and from just working through it using Logos. And we'll have as much discussion as we possibly can in the time that we have. And Nathan did want to mention that we do have prayer items on the prayer list in Faith Life. So feel free to share your personal requests. Always be wise in your details. There's nothing wrong with keeping things a little more personal, but also a little more anonymous. So just use wisdom and care there. Never post your phone number on there or your email because this is public information a lot of times. Okay, now overviewing the book. Let's begin right here. And I always, when I get ready to start a book, I have to overview it. I've got to get ready to see the big picture. Now, what are the various ways to overview a book? So what I'm going to do, instead of telling you what I do, I want to hear from the audience, from you guys, what you do. And so the way we'll do this to make it kind of orderly is if you put the word question in the chat box or in the Q&A box, I will, and put your name will show up. So I'll have the name that you registered. I'll call on you and I'll unmute the line and I'll give you a chance to share. But also, as several of you are doing, you're just chatting in the box and saying survey books and introductions. Absolutely. So what are some other ways? And again, I'm going to unmute the line here. Let's try this. Let's do a little free-for-all and see how that goes. What are some other ways that we can overview a book, or what are some of the ways that you've gone to approach a book and to do an overview? Excellent question. Read it in one sitting. Perfect. And do you read it just one time, or do you read it several times? Multiple. And who's this? Oh, Doretta. Hey, Doretta. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. It's exactly what I do. How many times do you say? 3 to 5 times at least to get yourself warmed up? Definitely. Great. I am so glad you said that, because, Doretta, that is a really good point, and it brings up an opportunity to bring up this. The ESV can be downloaded, and it has an audio version. And I absolutely agree that if you can sit back and have the time to hear it, that will bring out ideas from the text and help you make observations that you normally wouldn't hear. You're going to pick up on things like words that repeat themselves. Those tend to stand out a little bit more than sometimes the written word. Or you'll just kind of visualize what you're hearing, and that can really help you say, hey, I need to go look at that. So a great suggestion there. I see here also Erwin adding that it's a short book, so he reads the whole book and then goes back and study it. Nathan likes to compare pericopes. We're going to show you how to do that. Reading aloud, John, great suggestion. Absolutely. I don't do that enough. But reading aloud to yourself is not only a better way to hear it, but remember it and recall it later, and you will pick up on things that you wouldn't otherwise do it. Butler's daily Bible reading outlines are good too, absolutely, and Gingrich's outlines. So let me show a couple of those resources. So let's bring up Gingrich. I do like his as well because of the the simplicity of the outlines, but a little bit of commentary as well. So let me put in Jonah and open this up, and let me expand it. And so let me go to Jonah 1. I just go right to the beginning. So here he goes. He's got the narrative, the noteworthy things in the narrative, and then here's the overview, very straightforward outline. And at this point of the stage, again, we're not being super scholarly here. We're just trying to get an overview so that when we go into details, we have a framework. And I do recommend reading several of these because we don't want to be biased one way or the other. And one author can say it one way and kind of tilt us a direction. An author may say it a different way and tilt us another direction. And so we need to balance that. So Gingrich is really good. I don't think I've got Butler. So let's see here. Butler Daily Bible. Might just be the Daily Bible series. But anyway, that would be another good one. And okay, so great. So let's now jump in to Logos and actually go through this process, taking some of your suggestions. So I'm going to go ahead and just mute for a moment. And again, if you want to jump in, just type in the word question and we'll get you in there. Oh, and Erwin did mention this, and I agree, multiple translations, reading the version from different translations. At this point, that would be totally appropriate. Once we get into the study, you're going to want to stick to one translation. That'll help you memorize the text and see patterns within the text. But jumping from one translation to the next, once you get in the study, can be a little more troublesome. Let's see. And Nathan says, I also have all these questions in the note file for those that want to collaborate. Yeah, great. So feel free to add to the note file, which, by the way, was wonderfully done. Let me open that up. And I think, did that show up, Nathan, just out of curiosity, the notes that I added? The visual filter, the syntax, and so forth? I was just curious if that worked. I wasn't sure if it did or didn't. Okay, so let's go ahead now and let's look at some of the basic ways we can use Logos to get ourselves ready for an overview. And by the way, you'll notice that I've created these 4 boxes. I like to, at least in the initial stages of dividing the book, sticking with the chapter divisions. Then later, I may group the chapters, but this is really important from the beginning because it's already broken down this way. They've thought through where the chapter breaks are. Even though it's a man-invented chapter, it's usually pretty close, though there can be some exceptions now and then. So getting started, go with the flow, stick with the chapter divisions. All right, now let's do this. Let's go to the first place to kind of get into overviewing the book. So we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to go to Passage Analysis, and we're going to choose Compare Pericopes. And you'll notice right away that we've got several colored columns. Each one of these columns represents a different Bible translation. And depending which Bible translations you've chosen will determine which columns appear. Now, to choose a column, that is, choose a translation to appear or not appear, we click here on Pericope Sets. And you'll notice that some are checked and some are not checked. I've kind of unchecked most of the foreign Bibles because they just aren't as helpful. And then what I try to do is I try to select ones that are different. So you pick a passage and then you compare them. And now in this case, a lot of them are very similar, but you can see that the ESV, the ISV, the New King James, slightly different from the other ones. So I like having a variety as well. Now, here's what I recommend you do when you overview the book. Not only do we see the chapter divisions, and those are spotted by the long white lines. Okay, when a white line appears across the board, that's saying everyone agrees. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, in most cases, not here, but you'll see that most of them agree that, that chapter 2 begins at verse 2:1. Some see it kind of changing where they think verse 16 is the end of chapter 2. So that'd be something to look at more closely. But for now, let's stick with it. Now, what do you do now that you've identified the chapter divisions? What we want to do in the box is look at the divisions within the chapter and write down a word or phrase that summarizes the particular section. So let me demonstrate. All right, so I'm going to open up the New American Standard Bible, and I'm going to park it over here to the left, and I'm going to park my Jonah Bible study so you can see it side by side. And I like using the New American Standard for this because it has already gone ahead and identified the paragraph titles, the paragraph sections. Now, this is based off of